Well, let's continue with boxing. Well, let's say martial sport, I should say. Boxing South Africa has found itself in murky waters of late and back and forth between those who run the sport and those in the front lines. To start this conversation, we've roped in boxing promoter, boxing trainer, boxing commentator, and boxing analyst. What don't you do in boxing? Colin Nathan.
I pretty much do it all. Fortunately or unfortunately, it depends on how you see it at the moment. How are you doing, Kate? It's good to be here.
I'm good. Yeah. Lovely having you back. But unfortunately, we never have great things to say when you're here. So let's talk about boxing.
We actually do when I make good champions. But unfortunately, we're talking the administrative part of the boxing at the moment.
Yeah.
It's been dismal, hasn't it?
Okay, tell me about it. What has gone wrong?
Oh man, it's just been so many issues throughout the year. First, if you just look at fights being cancelled, that's the biggest part. That's actually why I'm here. So it hasn't affected me personally, but it's affected boxers. And some boxers are scared to come out and talk because they're scared that they might not get an opportunity. I'm very blessed and fortunate to be part of a promotional company where my fighters are active, but they're fighters who are desperate to fight and desperate to earn money. And these fighters cut weight, they go into camps and they prepare really, really well. And they go to weigh in and the fight's cancelled and there's no accountability. And the commission's there for two reasons: administratively to protect the sport, which they're not doing, and to protect the fighter, which they're not doing. So how do you justify a fighter signing a contract, going to a weigh-in, only to be told he or she's not going to fight? It's just crazy. And then you've got a situation where a fighter in May this year, Luduma Lamati, nearly lost his life. To this moment where I'm standing here, the acting CEO has yet to call him or send him a message to find out how he's doing.
Sure.
So you tell me how the leadership is administratively through our commission and what's being done. What's the change? I know there's a new board being announced on Tuesday by the sports minister, Mr. Kodwa. We're all hoping that there's going to be change. And unfortunately this year, it's been tarnished. Boxing's been tarnished. We've had situations where a COO's been suspended, a PM's done a boggling situation with the scores, and he hasn't been suspended, but yet the COO has to take the responsibility and suspended. He hasn't been charged for more than 60 days. It's now 90. So what's going on? So who's failing who here?
Yeah.
We're in a situation now where boxing should be governed correctly, and it's not. And it's such a beautiful sport. Someone actually asked me the other day, Kate, should we privatize boxing in this country? And I said no. I think it should be governed by the Act, and I just think we should have the right leaders. And currently, we don't.
Yeah, seems to be a cry for a lot of federations. But let's go back to what you're talking about, cancel fights and all of that. But Boxing South Africa, that is insinuating that the promoters cannot be held liable for cancel. So who's protecting the boxers?
Yeah, hold on that point, right? So you obviously took a listen to the portfolio committee, right? When the acting CEO defended that situation. Yeah. He's protecting and looking after promoters. Who's the most important person when the bell rings?
Yeah.
The fighter, right?
Yeah.
Because without fighters, we don't have jobs. If I didn't train athletes, how would I pay my bills?
Yeah.
And even the administrators. If there was no fighters, there would be no jobs. So how do you even make that excuse? How can you even cover that up? Not even cover it up, make that excuse, well, we can't penalize promoters if they're government funded. Excuse me, what about the athletes who put their blood, sweat and tears into something? Is that right? Is that fair? They're just too scared to talk out, and that's why I'm here tonight.
Yeah, so are you guys, I don't know, you guys have a society where you can go meet to the minister?
So here's the thing, is that there's been a promoters association first. Why hasn't there been a fighters association first?
You can start it.
I'm not a fighter. I'm registered in South Africa and Japan as a boxing manager. So I got a dual license because, again, you have to look at what's been going on with these suspensions. People being outspoken on social media, and then the portfolio committee, BSA, complaining about all the negativity and all the negative comments on social media. But they're not doing their jobs effectively. Yeah. So people are upset. People want to complain. I'm one of those guys where I'll be honest with you, I'm saying it right now live. I'm gutful. I am just so sick of what's going on. And I'm just hoping for change. And that change, hopefully, please God, starts on Tuesday morning with the new board being announced.
Okay, well, if you can't start Fighters Association, can your athletes do something about it?
Well, we can be involved in a managers association. I believe these structures are in place. but the preference is the Promoters Association. And I think it should be the Fighters Association, because the fighters, like I'm saying to you, are the most important people. Without two athletes in the ring, the show can't go on.
Absolutely. You've mentioned a number of shortcomings, obviously, with the leadership. What else? You're here now. Might as well let the whole nation know.
I just think that, it's a beautiful sport. I wouldn't be in the sport if I couldn't feed my family and I couldn't make champions and changing lives with positive vibes. You've often heard me say that on social media posts and say that in interviews, but it's really not difficult. Just do the job administratively. Look after fighters. We've only got a few minutes here. I mean, I could list endless complaints, and again, I guess here's another point, is that the office, BSA, they never respond to mails. Never respond to mails. There have been so many complaints about an official elbowing a fighter in the ring, like assault in the ring. And the manager of that fighter who was assaulted by the referee wrote a complaint, and there's been no accountability. And then let's talk about the AG report, irregular expenditure. I mean, that's just, last year's local travel was 1.2 million rand. This year's 5.5 million rand. 466,000 rand a month on local travel. Now, you're looking at me, you seem stunned, but where's the accountability?
Yeah.
And then there were the boxing awards, and the event manager got 963 or 964,000 rand for being an event manager. The fighter of the year, female and male, each got 50,000 rand.
No.
So now you explain to me how that's fair. Explain to me the logic of that.
Okay, so I guess you guys have a lot to talk about with the minister. Have you, I don't know what you represent. I mean, apart from being a trainer, obviously you.
I'm representing a voice. I'm representing a voice for South African boxing. I stand here tonight, and I'm pleading. Mr. Corday has reached out to me.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to meeting him this week. But
he's willing to listen. That's what
absolutely. He's responded to my text. We've been in communication. So I'm looking forward to the announcement on Tuesday. I'm looking forward to meeting with him this week. And just, the fighters, everyone's up in arms. We want change.
Wait, the announcement is called. He's called media to some announcement on Tuesday. Is this about you guys?
No, this is about the new board being announced.
It's about boxing.
Correct.
Oh. Okay,
Correct.
now we have reasons to go to Pretoria, but we're always asking, why is it going to Pretoria? Joburg is any more accessible. So another point, I mean, you talk about financial mismanagement. After COVID, boxers were the ones who bore the brunt of that, of non-activity. Did Boxing South Africa compensate any of them?
I believe there was a fund that you had to apply for, and fighters did get some sort of, some funding, correct? They did.
Okay, was it something they could live off for however long they needed to? Was it adequate?
I mean, listen, something's better than nothing. So
Okay.
I was impressed that there was certain funds allocated for fighters during COVID. But we're out of COVID now, Kate. We're out of COVID. So that's in the past. We've got to talk about now, the current situation.
Yeah, what does the Constitution say, the Constitution of Boxing South Africa say?
So boxing falls under the Act, which is government, right? And I have no problem with that. Just follow the rules and regulations of what's in the Act. Don't be vague about certain things.
What's in the Act?
So for example, when fighters went to the weigh-in and they got told that the show wasn't compliant, there's rules and regulations in the 2001 Act that says 30 days prior, purse monies need to be lodged. It's been amended to 14 days, right? There have been situations where when a show is non-compliant, why is it not compliant? The venue's there, the ring's there, the officials are ready to go, the fighters are fit and ready. There's no money in the bank. And that's, the rules are being flouted. Certain rules apply to certain people, but generally the rules should be for everyone, across the board. No favoritism, no special favors, just follow the Act, follow the rules and regulations of Boxing South Africa. Yeah,
talking about rules and all of that, what's the real state of women's boxing?
So here's the thing, is that I think there has been a good marketing drive behind it. There has been a new program, The Rise in Women in Boxing, but that's just been riddled with complications. Fighters waiting 3 weeks to get paid. I mean, and then there's been a letter of assurance from a department to BSA that the funds will be paid. But that's not in the Act, Kate. The Act is clear. The money has to be lodged in the trust account before the contest. Why do fighters who are desperate to make money and to feed their families wait 3 weeks after an event?
Yeah.
Why? Just doesn't make sense. It's not fair.
Yeah. Until wait for the minister on Tuesday. Hopefully he's going to have good news for you. But what are you busy with? What do you have next? On a positive note.
Look, I mean, I love boxing. I'll be in the office tomorrow morning, 8:30 after the school run, just behind my laptop. And
I'll be sleeping. I'm kidding.
No, yeah, it's all good. It's all good. They're amazing. Busy putting together my next event for March next year. It'll be overseas. And just looking forward to that developing further.
Are you not able to tell us who's doing what?
I can't unfortunately say anything until we've signed contracts, but I'm busy negotiating. We're in talks at the moment. We're very, very close. It's with regards to a world-class fighter of mine who's a featherweight. That's all I'm prepared to say right now.
No, that's fine.
I'm very excited about him. I believe he's going to be champion of the world probably in the next year. But obviously, we're now putting together the final touches of his fight coming up in March.
Well, hopefully, Minister will have some good news for you on Tuesday. We're looking forward to that announcement. Thank you so much for always making time for us. Hopefully, next time you come through, you'll be bearing good news.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Like you're the bearer of bad news. That's Colin Nathan, ladies and gentlemen, talking all things boxing South Africa.